It's not the biggest, not the most popular, and certainly not the most expensive, but the Ferran Torres move from FC Barcelona to PSG in this summer transfer window is set to have more far-reaching ramifications than any other piece of business that's been done this year. That statement might sound a little over the top and crazily exaggerated, but when you're done with this video, you will see that it really isn't. This is why the Ferran Torres deal is the most significant transfer this summer.
Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today.
The scorer of the 2026 World Cup winning goal just signed a deal to join the reigning European champions PSG. The move is worth €50 million and on the surface it feels like just another signing, but it actually isn't. First of all, with Ferran Torres coming in, we're very likely going to see Bradley Barcola leave PSG in the coming days. The Frenchman has been linked with a move to the Premier League for much of the window, and he's had one foot out the door ever since. The fact that he didn't get a single minute during the UEFA Super Cup game against Aston Villa was a massive indication of where things are at the moment, and it felt like the club was just looking to bring in one more attacker before they give him the green light to leave. Now that Ferran Torres has come in, Barcola will likely soon complete his move to Liverpool, and then that might allow Liverpool to facilitate Cody Gakpo's move to Spurs, who have shown some real interest in the Dutchman this summer. That could in turn force the North London club to back out of the Savinho deal, which might then see the Brazilian move somewhere else this summer. As you can see, this one Ferran Torres move has the potential to create a really massive domino effect in this window, involving some really big names and massive football clubs. And it doesn't even end there. You see, a lot of Barcelona fans celebrated the sale of the Spanish forward, and you can sort of understand why. He's one player who has developed a reputation for missing a lot of chances, which the fans feel have cost them in some big games. And generally, he pretty much failed to really blow the fans away since he joined in 2022. But what they don't realise is that Ferran's departure could put Barcelona in a very complicated position. What do we mean by that? You'll find out in just one moment, but if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, now is the perfect time to go do that so that you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Okay, back to the video. You see, with Torres gone, Barcelona now have to spend a lot more this summer, only that now they've lost any leverage they had. Remember that Robert Lewandowski already said goodbye to the club earlier in the window, which instantly forced them to go to the market in search of a number 9. They showed interest in Joao Pedro, which was quickly shut down by Chelsea, while Atletico Madrid have made their pursuit of Julian Alvarez very frustrating and very difficult. A couple of weeks ago they had some leverage. They could afford to just sign a less expensive number 9 and go into the season with Ferran and whoever that guy would have been. They weren't so desperate. But now that Ferran is gone, that leverage has gone with him. They are now without any number 9 at the club, which means that they're now pretty desperate. And what makes this worse is that a lot of their options have now either been snapped up by someone else or look very expensive. Dusan Vlahovic has joined Besiktas, Vedat Muriqi has joined Fenerbahce, Alvarez and Osimhen will cost over €100 million, while Harry Kane just seems unrealistic. And what makes this situation that bit worse is that they now need 2 strikers, not 1. Reports say that the club is targeting George Mikatadze to come in and be a backup striker, and the Georgian could cost Barcelona up to €60 million. There are also rumours about a reported interest in Fisnak Aslani also as a backup option. If they do get any of those guys, it's not a problem solved just yet. They would still have to go for a big name, and now that they're obviously quite desperate, the asking price could go up. So if they end up landing Alvarez, it would likely be for a very obscene fee. We're talking maybe even around €150 million. And well, the last time Barcelona paid over €100 million for an Atleti player, it didn't end well. So that won't be bringing the best of memories for the club and the fans. You know what else won't be bringing the best of memories? The last time Barcelona sold a player to PSG for 50 million euros. Ousmane Dembele was labelled an absolute flop while he was at Barcelona, and everyone strongly believed that there was simply no saving him. Well, he moved to PSG for 50 million euros in 2023 and absolutely turned into a different beast, which didn't fail to bite Barcelona whenever he got the chance. He scored his first Champions League goal for PSG against Barcelona, scored again in the return leg and was named player of the match. And then he went on to beat Barcelona's Lamine Yamal to the Ballon d'Or last year. If something like this would happen again with Ferran, Barcelona fans might start to feel like they're in some sort of twisted dysphoria. Also, if the club is forced to spend big on a striker this summer, that probably puts an end to the dream of landing Erling Haaland in a year or two. On the positive side though, now that Barcelona have generated some more funds from the sale of Ferran Torres, it means that the completion of the Rodri transfer from Manchester City is now closer than ever. It also announces to the world the ruthlessness of the new Barcelona leadership. They will never beg players to stay, nor will they hold on to a player for too long. If you want to leave or you're no longer of use to the club, you are out. That could change the mentality of players moving forward and force them to sit up. But away from Barcelona, what does this mean for the rest of Europe? Well, we've just watched Luis Enrique get handed yet another attacker who's okay being a backup player. This is great news for PSG, but absolutely terrible news for the rest of Europe. Over the past 2 seasons, we've watched PSG rest their biggest guys for a lot of league games, keeping them fresh for the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Both times, it has worked a treat. They've gone on to obliterate and absolutely dominate the continent. With this Ferran Torres signing, that is about to go up a notch. We're talking about a guy who's been one of the most potent backup strikers in the world over the last few seasons. This is a guy who can get you 20 plus goals as a backup. He is surely an upgrade on Goncalo Ramos, so Enrique will surely trust him to hold down the fort in most of the league games. And remember that these two have worked together in the national team, so Enrique already knows how to apply him. PSG can now have a front three of Ferran Torres, Magnez Agliouche and Ibrahim Mbaye play a lot of league games, leaving Kvara, Dembele and Doué fresh for the Champions League. Anyway, this has even stretched beyond the attack. They've signed another top goalkeeper in Zion Suzuki, another top left-back in Luca Dean, and of course they still have a deep midfield and defence. Zabarnyi and Lucas Hernandez can afford to rest Marquinhos and Pacho at centre-back, while Beraldo and Warren Zaire-Emery can afford to rest Vitinha and Joao Neves in the midfield. Not forgetting Seny Mayulu and Dro Fernandez, 2 youngsters who will surely see meaningful game time throughout the season. You thought Dembele, Marquinhos and Kvara skipped a lot of league games last season? Nuno Mendes, Pacho, Vitinha and Doué are about to join that list this season, and that's simply very scary for the rest of Europe. The guys who can really compete with these play in the Premier League or La Liga, and unless they're ready to just put all their eggs in the Champions League basket, they won't have the luxury of playing a full second team in the league like PSG will now be able to do. Bayern can, but they simply do not have the quality and depth that PSG possesses. So, like we said, this might not have been the most popular, most expensive, or most groundbreaking transfer of the summer, but it really has the potential to be the most significant one of the window in how it affects a whole lot of things across different clubs. Anyway, we now want to hear from you guys. Do you agree with us? Could this really be the most significant transfer this summer, or is there another one that you think has more significance? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the bell notification so that you never miss out on new content. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.